We may not know if today's Week 3 contest for the New York Giants was a must-win, but we do know that the Giants got the win they most desperately needed. Big Blue ran for 193 yards as a team as the Giants defeated the Houston Texans 30-17 here at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Giants now 1-2 on the season. Now, of those 193 rushing yards, 176 of those came from new acquisition running back Rashad Jennings. Rashad Jennings with a career high 176 yards rushing. His previous career high came last year against the Houston Texans as a member of the Oakland Raiders. Now, not only was the running game going all game long, the passing game was humming for the New York Giants. Eli Manning, 21 of 28 in the ball game, 234 yards, a couple of touchdowns, almost more importantly, no interceptions and no turnovers from Eli Manning. And the offensive line for the New York Giants had a stellar game, not only paving the way for the Giants running backs, but also keeping Eli Manning upright. Manning was only sacked one time in the ball game, and that was on his second drop back, and that was J.J. Watt with the sack in the first quarter. But after that, Watt and the vaunted Houston Texans pass rush was held in check. And after the game, I talked with one of the men up front for the New York Giants, right tackle Justin Pugh, and I asked him, after not recording a win until October 21st last season, it must have felt really good to get win number 1 early in this season.
Yeah, and I thought last week we had some shots at getting it. I felt real close, and I felt like the offense just kept progressing. And I think we took the next step this week, and getting the win feels great. 176
yards for Rashad Jennings, almost 200 yards as a team. That was the game plan going in, right? Just punishing the Houston Texans up front. Was that the game plan coming in?
I mean, they were letting up on average like 5.8 yards a carry. So we knew we'd have to run the ball. Rashad ran hard all day. The offensive line, did our job, and he made us look good.
Of course, J.J. Watt and his threat and Whitney Merciless as well, yeah. Even without Jadeveon Clowney, a very vaunted front four for the Houston Texans. How did you guys, how were you able to pretty much withhold J.J. Watt from having a big day and being able to keep Eli Manning upright as well?
I think today was just to show the resiliency of the offensive line, because that first pass play, I let up a sack against him, and how we bounced back, and I was able to bounce back and go out there and keep fighting, and the guys played great. All 4 linemen played great, and it's just keep this going, keep progressing as a unit.
What was your mentality right after that first sack in the first quarter that J.J. Watt got?
It was just like, hey, forget it and move on. That's just always the mentality of offensive line. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever the play outcome is, you got to move on. And there's going to be bad plays. It's how you respond. And I think as a unit, as a team, that's how we're going to keep playing, and that's going to be our benefit down the road.
It took a while for any of the teams to break through. It was almost a scoreless first half. Yeah. Was there a little bit of frustration after a couple of drives ended not in the way that you wanted to, with the fumble and the botched field goal?
Yeah, I think we could have put some more points on that board. I mean, you think about that game, it easily could have been in the 40s or 50 points if we put some 7s on instead of 3s. So we just got to keep finishing our drives, keep getting better, and build off today's game.
How do you prepare for the short week Thursday now going into Washington?
It's a short week. Obviously, we got to come in, prepare. They're a great team. In the division, this is a big one. So we're excited. We take this one, celebrate it for the rest of the night, and then we get back to work on Monday.
Next week, you're not here next weekend, but your alma mater is here, Syracuse University, and my alma mater as well.
Oh, really?
Yes, taking on Notre Dame. So any plans for next Saturday?
Yeah, I'll be doing the coin toss for the game. So me and a couple of other Syracuse guys will be out there rooting them on. It's a big one. I'm excited for them.
Let's go Orange, right?
Of course.
Let's go Orange. Justin Pugh, thank you so very much for your time.
Hey, no problem.
As for the Houston Texans, they were dealt a big blow even before the game started. Star running back Arian Foster deactivated from today's contest with a hamstring injury. He was a game-time decision coming into this ball game, but he did not go for the Houston Texans. Ryan Fitzpatrick, the quarterback for Houston, 20 of 34, 289 yards, 1 touchdown, but his biggest problem, 3 interceptions. So the Houston Texans dropping to 2-1 on the season. They go back home in Houston at NRG Stadium next week, where they will take on another 2-1 team, the Buffalo Bills. For the New York Giants, as discussed in our interview with Justin Pugh, they go to our nation's capital to take on Washington. A very big game, not only because it's a division game, but the winner of that game between New York and Washington will be 2-2 at the quarter pole of the 2014 NFL season. The loser will be 1-3 after after 4 games in the 2014 NFL season. So stay tuned to ALotofSportsTalk.com, where we will have the written recap of this ball game between Houston and the New York Giants, and we will also on Tuesday have the Tuesday 10 spot, 10 observations from A Lot of Sports Talk about Week 3 in the National Football League, and we will debut a new podcast later in the week called Down and Distance, discussion about the week that was and the week that will be in the National Football League. Myself and a couple of special guest hosts will talk NFL, and we will also have interviews from players and journalists who cover and play in the National Football League. From MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, my name is Adeshina Koike for ALotofSportsTalk.com.